In the middle of the summer and good swimming weather, it felt appropriate to take a look beneath the surface of the waters. Because deep underwater there are various creatures and spirits one might come across when swimming in the Finnish waters, according to folklore at least. And as they say, make sure to watch until the end of the video and all that crap, so you know what to avoid when swimming this summer. You know the feeling of swimming in a lake when something slimy touches your leg. You'd better hope it's an aquatic plant, because the other option is a vetehinen. They are usually malevolent and frightening creatures lurking in the waters, possibly souls of the drowned, and will lure you to drown as well. The dead were often feared back in the days, as they might come back to mess with the living. Many Iron Age burial sites contain swords that have been bent into unusable shapes, possibly in order to not be used by the dead against the living. One early medieval grave even has a sword pointing at the corpse's head and the coffin nailed with spearheads, which reminds me of an Irish vampire legend. But back to the lakes now. This was an example of the respectful fear of the dead. People might curse another to be taken and drowned by vetehinen, or ask them to provide a catch of fish. Vetehinen could be of the water's väki, vedenväki. As many viewers of the channel know, väki means both the inhabitants as well as the magical power of the waters. Vetehinen has also given its name to a Finnish World War II military submarine. If Finnish military history is close to your heart, do check out the channel called Satunnaista sotilashistoriaa. Another creature of the vedenväki, if not another name for vetehinen, is vesihiisi. The vesihiisi is perhaps most famous for the hissing sound it makes in elevators. Like Näkki, it is sometimes depicted as a nymph-like creature with beautiful female features but a fishy back. Vesihiisi could also refer to a waterborne disease or madness that could be healed with the right spell. While vetehinen is likely an ancient being lurking in the waters, we also have Näkki, who is a younger Swedish immigrant and perhaps better known. Näkki sometimes takes the form of a pretty woman, much like the Greek sirens, and lures people to their watery graves. Alternatively, Näkki can look like an ugly, somewhat shapeless monster like the one shown in my comic Trolled. If you wish to not get killed by the creature, the traditional method is to throw a rock into the water and command Näkki to come ashore. It does not like the sound of its name for some reason. The name suggests a connection to a crispy bread called näkkileipä. However, the bread may also be named after the sound it makes in Swedish. Stories of Näkki are often used by parents to keep kids from drowning. Similar creatures do their business elsewhere in the world too, including but not limited to Scandinavia and Britain. Of course, it is not only humanoid creatures swimming in Finnish lakes and rivers. There are actual fish as well, as of 2022 and before a total collapse of ecosystems. Third on our list is one of the meanest of fish, according to myths at least, the pike. In the Kalevala, our national epic, a monstrous pike stops the ship of the hero Väinämöinen and his crew. Väinämöinen then slays the beast with his sword, and then goes on to craft the first ever kantele instrument out of it. Another such fish dwells in the rivers of Tuonela, the realm of the dead. These two are the only truly monstrous pikes I'm aware of. With one hacked to pieces and turned into a kantele, and the other you're unlikely to come across unless you die, the pike is probably the smallest threat to you on our list. Next up we have the most horrific fallwater creatures, the Baltic cider whale. Weighing several tons, the cider whale is a fierce female predator, feeding on cider and cheap alcohol. Its natural habitat includes soulless chain pubs and clubs, or other places that poison the atmosphere with Spotify's Top 50 Finland playlist. The fifth on our list is a creature reportedly as old as the world itself, as its name suggests. Even the Kalevala mentions this one doing his job in primordial times and the creation of the world. I'm talking about Ikuturso, or Tursas of course. In his 1551 list of false gods, Michael Agricola lists Tursas as a god of war. This has certainly inspired various metal bands, however, further evidence of Tursas as a god are more scarce, although not non-existent. But his primary job seems to be that of a terrible sea monster. Like the Great Pike, Ikuturso also makes a big appearance in the Kalevala, trying to kill Väinämöinen and his crew. But that is easier said than done, and Väinämöinen tortures the poor beast, who then promises to return to the depths and never to return if Väinämöinen let him go. And there has been no sight of Tursas since. But with all the shit being dumped into the warming oceans, I wouldn't be surprised if he lifted his ugly head from the depths once again. And finally, what better to finish off with than the god of the seas himself, Ahti or Ahto. In Agricola's list he says that Ahti provided fish from the waters. Ahti is, together with Ukko and Tapio, perhaps one of the best preserved Finnish gods, at least in everyday language. Lakes, seas and other waters are commonly referred to as Ahti's realm, which he rules with his wife, Vellamo. Ironically, while his name has survived to the present day, not much is known about the dude. He is said to wield a triton and have a beard, but that sounds a lot like Poseidon, don't you think? With this design I've tried to make him more interesting, adding for example walrus tusks, as Ahti's name may derive from the mythical origin mother of seals. Ahti also happens to be a brand of canned fish. However, since the brand is not a sponsor of this video, as a mature adult I can only say that it tastes like shit. However, should you wish to support the making of these videos, it's possible for example by wearing Ahti's pretty face on a shirt. That was an overview of the top 6 or so water creatures and spirits found in Finnish folklore. Let me know in the comments if you've encountered any, or if there are any others you might have heard of. And as always, also drop any other related thoughts and prayers in the comments as well. If Finnish mythology is close to your heart, see a cardiologist and check out my other videos, or even consider subscribing to the channel.